The people who are a bit smarter, they were looking at someone like Walmart and Tesco, who all of these retail shops, they go brand direct. So the brand direct thing comes really from retailers. All of them, if you see Tesco that's selling Heinz, that's brand direct. They're not going through a wholesaler, and they're getting better terms. So people who are clued in on Amazon doing a lot of volume, they were like, why would I go wholesale route and get X amount for X amount? I would go brand direct and I would give them value. And not only that, as you know, on Amazon, there's so many brands that are misrepresented. You have 20 resellers, bad images, no ads. So the smart guys would go into the brand and say, hey, I'm very experienced on Amazon. This is my account. I'm doing very well. By the way, see your listings. I'm selling them already, but they're being misrepresented. Brands have price guidelines, and if you don't respect them, they hate it. A lot of them, they don't know that Amazon is the wild, wild west. If you show them that, they'll be like, okay, I want to work with you. But it's not as simple as that, really. It's about what can you give them. The guys who do it very well, and I've seen that do it very well, they do really listings for them, ads for them. They sell them on how they can expand their brand and be the one person that represents their brand. Because that's what brands care about. The bigger the brand, they don't care about necessarily the revenue, but being represented correctly and professionally.
Interesting. You mentioned there, like bringing value to the brand. Like, what does that, like, just define what does that mean? Like, when you say, like, I'm going to bring value to the brand, define it.
So let's say you're a brand, right? Let's say you have 20 different listings on Amazon. They're under different resellers. People are just going buy boxes going from $10 to $15 to $20, and it's all over the place. I'm coming in and I'm saying, hey, Heinz, you have these brands. I'll give you pictures. I'll give you a presentation. If you really want to do it properly, you do a proper presentation. You give them a call, but also emails and so on and so forth. The bigger they are, the more difficult it is just to get a call. But you go in and tell them, these are the brands. These are all the people that are selling it. Nobody is really credible. The listings are bad. The product, look at all the bad reviews your products are getting, and that's impacting you, not the seller. What I can do for you is, if you give me exclusivity, if you let me sell it for you, I will make sure that all the pictures are professional. I will go by your guidelines. If you tell me the price is $9, that's what I'm staying at. I'm not going at 10. I'm going to do exactly what you want me to do, but I'm going to do it the professional way. And on top of that, I'm going to advertise the listing, and I'm going to produce you more sales, and I'm going to do that out of my own pocket. So I'm going to basically work for you for free and buy your products, and we make more profit. That's how you want to position it, because that's the truth. Now, they probably don't know that if there were 40 sellers, if you did your data and there was a 500,000 sales a month, if you're the only seller, you're going to get that sales. And if you improve it and you have control of the listing, you can do even more. So it's a win-win, but it's a long-term thing. It's not where the issue is that most people are thinking, okay, I'm going there and I'm going to make money the first month. No, many times you might lose money for the first 3-4 months just to get that relationship. And then you start making money. It's a long-term partnership. You want to have everything written in contract. But that's why talking about private labels reselling, a lot of brand direct businesses, if done correctly, can sell for a good amount because they have value in those contracts.
If you're struggling to find brands to scale your Amazon FBA wholesale business, I've put together a list of the top 250 brands that you can access for free. Just check out the link down in the description below. You talked about their like price guidelines. I'm sure there's people watching right now who are going, what, like, whatever, the brand doesn't care. I just buy the stock. They're making money. I get it sold, and it's a bit of competition. That shouldn't matter. So why do you talk about price guidelines? Why does that matter?
So first, a lot of these big retailers, they have deals with everyone, right? They have deals with Tesco, Walmart, and there's prices they have agreed. And similar to online, if they sell to anyone online, of course, if they're not using Amazon vendor, it's different. But if they're not using Amazon vendor, they have price guidelines they want. What the retailer doesn't want, what the brand doesn't want to see is if his price on Tesco is £4, Amazon is 30, TikTok is 25, eBay is 15. You don't even know where the price is. What the brand wants is professional control. They want to control everything when it comes to the brand, especially the brands that care. The reason you see a lot of brands being resold because they don't really care because they sell to distributors and for them it's extra volume. You have a lot of sellers on Amazon, they make money, but some of these brands want to control that. They want to have a professional person that's representing them, if that makes sense. So price guidelines is exactly that. They want one pack to be sold at $9.99 because that's what they've established internally. Because a lot of these businesses are big.
I'm guessing from the brand's perspective, they don't really care about you. They care about the customer experience. And they want the customer to get a consistent experience of wherever they go shopping. And the problem comes is that trying to do it internally is very complex, but hiring agencies or professionals on one channel can be massively advantageous. That'd be right.
Very good point. That's because people say, okay, but why wouldn't brands sell themselves on Amazon? I'll tell you why. Because when you're doing 1 billion or 100 million, 200 million, and you're manufacturing product, you're distributing product, you're dealing with retailers. And then on top of that, doing Amazon is very complicated because if you're selling on Amazon, it might look easy to you, but creating a listing, doing ads, managing that, doing brand registry, fighting with cases on Amazon, that's not easy. And a company that's doing big numbers and has big staff has to train and give so many resources out for that to happen. That's why they give it to a seller, because it just makes sense. We need to understand all brands don't have the skill set of e-commerce. They don't understand e-commerce. They understand distribution. They understand how to sell to wholesalers, maybe sell retail relationships, but they don't understand e-commerce, let alone Amazon, because Amazon is a minefield, as you know.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we think about, it's easy because we've done it, but it took us a long time to learn. But also, manufacturers know how to manufacture. That's their key specialty, and drive efficiency and cost in that.
Very good point.
So you mentioned there about advertising. So my understanding right now is that when we work with brands, we're really about representing them in a professional way on the channel that we operate in, call it Amazon. But then also that's not just representing, doing the price, doing the listings, but also another element is about growing the listings, and that's generally through advertising. But before we jump into advertising, do I understand that right? When we talk about approaching brands, working with them, that's what we really mean. Is that correct?
Correct, yes. So not only you're making it more professional, but ideally you want to grow it as well. Because why would they sell to you if you're not growing their brand? They would just say, okay, we might as well have resellers. Of course, that can damage the reputation, but if it's about the bottom line for them, they want to see not only have my product, but I want to make sure that I'm making money on that product and it's growing. Because bigger brands have a lot of competitors and they hate their competitors. So they'll make everything possible for them to be better than their competitors. So there's a lot of competition as well. For the bigger brands, it's not about being big on Amazon. It's about being big everywhere and showing that they're there. That's the key. That's why advertising can be more complicated or much easier depending on what they want. We'll get later on to advertising, but when you're really, when you're pitching them, that's the key. And I have friends who do brand direct that not only they pitch brand direct and get brand direct, but they also work with agencies alongside. So they outsource that part so they can kind of work on just getting relationships with brand direct. Because just getting on a call with a big brand, it's super difficult.
Interesting. I never thought of that. It's like everyone talks about doing brand direct. You're like, cool, I'm just going to focus on getting calls, getting a relationship. And then once we've secured it, I'll use someone else to deliver on it.
Exactly. Yeah.